In this session, you'll learn how to create a summer package that fills your calendar. You'll learn how to stop people in their tracks, make them instantly interested, and then make them feel like they're losing out on something if they don't buy. My name is Shai Sansei, and I help detailers scale their business. And there are no cutesy animations or long introductions. We're getting started now. Why do we even need a summer deal? Well, to answer that, let's take a look at your strategy as a whole. Let's take this upcoming season. Every season has specific problems that are unique to it. What if we created a package around these problems and then promoted it? Well, we can refill your calendar and get an influx of leads. This way, you're guaranteeing revenue for the future, getting ahead of the competition, and then we can better plan the next strategy to fill the rest of the spots. So, how do we build this package? Here's the plan. We'll create a specific summer package that is a crazy good deal. We'll price it in the $250 range and keep it for no more 4 hours to complete. Finally, we'll stack some psychological techniques that make people take action right now. You know, I often see detailers slash their prices, hoping to get new customers. But I'm assuming you have bills to pay and you didn't become a business owner just to be broke. We'll create a plan for the upsell routes as well that you can take and create some step-by-step blueprints for those as well. Once we've completed that, we don't need to touch it. And think about it like your sales system. In other words, the only thing you need to do for the rest of the season is simply promote your deal. And because you don't need to tweak and adjust it, it means that you can spend more time promoting it, which will directly result in getting more customers to push through your system. This is how we thrive season in, season out, while your competitors are trying to survive. So now that we have a clear plan, we need to bring it to life. And to do that, we need something that is called a blueprint, which is part of the stability scaling system, which is essentially a step-by-step playbook to build a healthy, debt-free business. The idea behind it is very simple. You build an automated sales machine once, and then you enjoy it for a lifetime. We build it in steps, with the first one being predictable recurring revenue as a base. To build your base, you'll need two things: blueprints and skills. Blueprints are the how-to for attracting, closing, and bringing back customers, just like this one. And skills are how you're going to bring your blueprints into life. There are things like business mind, sales, and copywriting. The one thing I have to warn you about is this. What you learned today isn't a life hack or black magic. While I have optimized this material to work fast and prioritize making sales, you still need to put in the work. There's been a trend in recent years where guys are being sold the dream that detailing is a way to get rich quick. This isn't how I do things. Everything I teach you here assumes that you're a business owner that cares about the long term just as much as he cares about the short term. This is why today's session is more about the overall idea, so you know why we do what we do. And when it's time for you to open locations or hire employees, you already have that groundwork done. Okay, so there's a few things we need to create. The first one is your package. That's your entry point to your sales system. The second one is upsells. What do we upsell to? How do we upsell? What if they say no? If they have objections? How do we handle it? And finally, we need to come up with free methods to get new customers. So let's start with a deal. This is how the deal works. They buy either an interior or exterior premium package, and with it, they get all of that for free. It's a limited time offer, and it's backed by a powerful guarantee. And there are a few psychological layers here. The first one is value. They buy one, but they get three free. Your next door competitor usually offers a sad like 5 to 10% off, but you have a buy one, get three free. That's a great deal. Under the hood, these three mini packages are very affordable to you and take less than 30 minutes of your time. We don't have too much time to go in depth, so if you want more details, just download the Power Pitch Handbook at the link below. You'll find what you need to know on pages 14 and 15. Instead, I want to focus on why we do what we do so you can replicate it later. The second one is that these packages solve emotional problems. And there are really two concepts at play here: emotional selling and problem solving. Emotional selling means that people buy with emotions, but then they justify with logic. In other words, if you want your packages to sell more, you need to talk about how your services will make them feel. Let's say you're talking about how shiny their car will be after they wax it. You can say, your car will be extra shiny. Versus, so shiny that people will spin their head when you pull into the parking lot. The second part is about solving problems. If you remember from earlier, we mentioned that people might have problems that are specific to the season. Let's take a common scenario. They get into the car and it feels hot and icky. The smell of the car makes them want to get out immediately. So if we can solve this problem, it will mean a lot to your customer. It has a lot of value to them. So when you tie it together to your main package, your customer thinks, wow, I can get my car clean and I'll feel happy to get into it again. This is how you stop people in their tracks and make them instantly interested in what you offer, like we mentioned at the beginning. And as we've mentioned, there's a few more psychological techniques here, and I'm not going to cover them because we still have to cover upsells and customer generation. If you want to learn more so you can develop your business skills, or you want a clear step-by-step guide to launch so you can make money first and then develop your skills along the way, then download the Power Pitch Handbook at the link below. You'll just need to fill in some basic information and the link will be sent to your email. Our next step would be to create a blueprint for upsells. Now, I want to point your attention to how we strategically crafted our packages earlier. People buy either an interior or an exterior package, which means we have many different ways to upsell them. From a high level, we have three main options. We can upsell them on the spot, shoot for a high ticket, or focus on recurring revenue. If upsells are your thing, you can watch the complete upsell session at the link below. If we're upselling on the spot, we can do one of two things. Sell more of the same package, which is also called a vertical upsell. For example, if they're buying an exterior, this would be a bigger exterior package. Or sell something related, like selling a small interior package when they buy an exterior, which is also called a horizontal upsell. I always felt awkward upselling for the same thing, so I usually recommend to clients that they use a horizontal upsell. With that said, I believe that your business is an extension of your personality, so you can run it however you see fit. The second option is to shoot for a high ticket sale. When I plan for a high ticket, I build it as a journey. And a journey is a stability scaling concept that is designed to do the heavy lifting work for us. You enroll someone in it, and then the journey does all the selling, so people just call you whenever they are ready. Under the hood, selling is done with a series of educational emails. When I do this with clients, I have an educational handbook that I wrote. This way they come across as an expert, which helps them build trust and close the sale. But if you're a beginner, emails are a great place to start, and the results are still worth it. The only other piece of the puzzle is knowing if your customer is even a good fit for a high ticket. And you're going to figure it out by asking them a series of qualifying questions. In a nutshell, you want to know, is this something they need? Is this something they can afford? Does it even make sense for them to buy it? If they answer positively, then we know that we have a chance and we'll enroll them in the journey. We don't have time this session to dive deep into those, so if you want to learn more, just leave a comment. And the final thing you can do is just focus on recurring revenue. And when it comes to recurring, you'll see me argue a lot against the current model. I like to call it the beg and pray model. You do a detail, give a steep discount, and then you pray that nobody cancels. I don't beg, I don't discount, and I'm definitely not building any business based on hope. So instead of trying to see people every week or every month, why don't we try to see them every 3 months? This way you get full price and you can balance out the risk because you don't have to worry about people canceling. Also, this is how you build your 142 club, which is another stability scaling concept that says that if you can find 142 people that need their car detailed twice a year at $275 a pop, you will make $78,100. Now, are you going to be so rich that you can buy a Dolphin? No. But with this stable base, you'll be able to afford to create more revenue streams and fully automate your business. I am going to show you how to do this in a second, and it's when we talk about generating new customers, which is the final step of our blueprint. When I ran my restaurant, I always had the same problem. I had nothing but time on my hands, but I could never really spend any money on ads. So I started looking for every free method I could find to get new customers. Free methods are free when you have time. But when you hire people, they obviously have a cost. As time goes by, you'll understand why I said this. The first thing you can do is email your customer base, and that includes both people who bought and didn't buy. If you think about it, every month you get new leads, whether it's by phone or from your website. It might not make sense to reach out to them again if you have the same pricing, but when you have a killer deal that changes every 3 months, most of your competitors treat their leads like they're fast food employees. If they want to buy, buy, and if they don't want to buy, bye-bye. But when you start looking at it like a business owner, you realize that reaching out to these people and selling to them is absolutely free. You don't need to spend money on ads, and you don't need to spend time like with the other methods. And with time, your base gets bigger and bigger, and this is how you create the stable income that we mentioned at the beginning. Now, if you're not saving any contact info, now is a great time to start. Our next method is going to be social media, and I feel like social media is very misunderstood because people assume they can just throw a post every once in a while and then just wait for the money to fall from the sky. But you have to remember that people have very short attention spans, and we're competing against cooking videos, cute puppies, and half naked girls. We're dealing with real monsters in there. So if we want to beat them, we need to use video. Here's the plan. You shoot about 15 minutes worth of video of you detailing a car. It doesn't have to be professional. Matter of fact, it shouldn't be professional. You then chop it up into short form videos. From here, you'll just post them strategically on your business page and on some local groups. The idea is actually very simple. You have a killer deal, and it's something that is worth talking about, and it's something that is worth sharing. So all you need is for people to know about it and for those people to live nearby you. That's it. So if somebody is interested, they can take action right now. And if they're not, they can share the message with somebody who is. Now, a couple of gotchas when it comes to making videos. I've seen people go and try to be over the top with it and get obsessed with virality. Don't. Making these videos is very simple, and in a way, they have to be the opposite of professional. Also, virality doesn't matter. You only want people who live nearby you. I've seen clients fall in love with the idea that they are a local celebrity or an influencer and start optimizing for likes and shares. But while I have a lot of good friends that work in banks, none of them allow you to deposit your likes. In other words, if your video only gets a few likes, a few shares, but it gets you leads, then it is working. The final piece of the blueprint is about creating partnerships. And this is a topic of its own that I actually made a whole video about, and it's also one of my favorite methods. We're going to introduce it briefly here, but you can read more about it in pages 37 to 42 of the Power Page Guide. But from a high level, this is how it works. Your local market has many businesses that serve your ideal customer. Mechanics, for example. They can only sell so many oil changes to one person, but what if that person wants a detail? Well, they can buy it there. The same goes about you. You have customers that need an oil change, but you'll never sell one. If both of you have something that the other wants, and it costs both of you absolutely nothing to exchange it, why not just switch? From a high level, you need to find partners, find their email address, and then reach out to them and offer to exchange these customers. Then once they agree, you typically either share each other's posts on social media or do a targeted email. The reason this works so well comes back to the power pitch. I can't say this enough. When you have a good deal, like Black Friday kind of good, people are magnetized to it. And as you can see, all we do here is just get people to notice. There's no like tricks or techniques. It's just many different ways to do the exact same thing. And it's to get people to notice your deal. Everything else is handled from there. I've already confessed that I've always felt awkward about hard selling, so I created the system that requires the absolute minimum for me and does all the heavy lifting work in the background. With that being said, I'm obviously excited about it, but I'm also obviously biased. At the end of the day, this is your business, and you can see it however you see fit. Okay, let's build an action plan. While I will always argue that education is an investment that pays dividends for a lifetime, if you want to develop your business skills, you need to take action today. The good news is there's nothing for you to buy. I won't even ask you to subscribe. But here's what I do want you to do. I want you to create your summer strategy. If you want to prioritize money in your pocket and learn your skills along the way, then download the Power Pitch Handbook. All you need to do is fill in some basic information and a link will be sent to your email. Otherwise, you just need to start creating your deal, a package that people can say no to. It's a slower process, but you'll make your mistakes up front, which will pay out in the long run. And if you get stuck, leave a comment.